as such, talks about the release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, NNAMDI Kanu. Insecurity in the region and other issues topped the agenda of the meeting between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and some leaders of Ohanese Indigo worldwide. The Secretary General of the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Oke Emuche, says the closed-door meeting with the president of the group, Emmanuel Uwayawu, and his Owerri Imo State home was very symbolic and crucial. He added that the deliberations were fruitful. Bikio, it's a new year, and topping the list of concerned issues for the leadership of the Indigos is the unconditional release of NNAMDI Kanu. This campaign has been on for about 2 years. Is it high time?
I think the most important thing is securing the Southeast. The level of insecurity in the Southeast is troubling. There are many people who ordinarily would love to go home, but they didn't go home, told their parents to come down to Lagos, and they gave them whatever they felt like giving them. That insecurity is the biggest problem. And many people tie the insecurity to the continued incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Remember, the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was what
Bikio. Bikio, are you there? All right, we may have to come back to Bikio then. Asoko, let me have your take on this. Like I said, is it high time?
Well, for me, I think, let me take from where Bikio, stopped. We need a permanent solution to the insecurity in the Southeast. And one of the solutions, maybe, to me, can be a political solution. Because if we are to continue with the way it is now, we might end up having this insecurity, in the Southeast. Yes, the law has to take its course, okay? But I feel that since he is the arrowhead of what people are clamoring for, we can, bring him on the table and tell him that this is what we need. We need that particular region to be at peace, and then get things from him. And when we mean, I'm saying get things from him, get him to agree that peace will return to the Southeast. Because we cannot, Southeast used to be a very beautiful place. I served in the Southeast. And for once, I never had this fear that at some point, I would always have this fear of, traveling to the Southeast, or having, for people to say, oh, I can't go to some parts of the Southeast. Even there were some parts that, recently, the places I used to go on a regular basis, I started hearing that those places, you can't even go there anymore in the Southeast. And I was like, what? So it means back then, if it was to be now, I'm not sure I can. So if the president or the former president is trying to make that move with Ohanese, it has to be in agreement with, with the present administration. We should be able to find a political solution, for us to bring peace in the Southeast.
Okay, are you back with us? All right. So, Ebeka, the federal government has always argued that once a case touched on national security, the rights of the individual affected takes secondary place.
Well, that is just semantics. That's academic. You see, there are certain issues that border more on the political than on the judicial. Like Nnamdi Kanu's case, it's something that I have said from time that the best approach is a political solution. Because if you want to go through the process of his trial, well, I don't know how long it will take and where it will end. But the point is that I commend ex-President Obasanjo for this initiative. And I think we should also be on our guard because there are people, there are fifth columnists, who usually want to ensure that certain conflicts just remain and government continues to spend money. I remind you of what Obasanjo said in 2022, how he met with Boko Haram leaders in 2011 in Maiduguri. And they told him that their prime motivation for starting Boko Haram was because they had no jobs. Apart from support for China, they had no jobs. And security agencies were pursuing them all over the place. Do you know what happened? The unfortunate thing that happened. Obasanjo said that just after he left Maiduguri, some people went and shot the person who facilitated the meeting, Babakura Fugu, who was an in-law to the founder of Boko Haram. They shot him dead. And he said at that time they didn't have external connection. Their feet had not been firmly planted on the ground. But look at today. From Boko Haram, we now have ISWAP. So I think the earlier, the better. Let's try and put things in proper perspective for the good of our nation. If there are political solutions to certain things, let's sort them out quickly so that we can move forward.
So I asked that question because the federal government continues to say there is intelligence reports that releasing Kanu from detention would worsen insecurity in the southeast region.
Who gave them the intelligence report? I'm an Igbo man from the southeast. Who gave them the intelligence report? Do you know that this last December, the number of people, in fact, before this last Christmas, a top security officer had told me that they got intelligence report that the number of people that will be coming back, some people had not come back home for 10 years, that they will come back. I can show you videos, events that held, events, meetings, some people who had not come home for more than 10 years. Things were holding. Yes, there was this unfortunate incident at Oga Junction, where some hoodlums attacked, the convoy of a politician. But the security agencies responded quickly and killed 2 of them. So releasing NNAMDI Kanu will douse the tension in the southeast and help to resolve a lot of things. Anybody giving an intelligence report should come out and tell us the source and the scope. His release will solve issues in the southeast.
Mikhail, you're back with us. And like I've told the gentleman in the studio, federal government says once a case touched on national security, the rights of the individual affected takes secondary place.
And that's true. That's true. But there is no matter that is beyond a peaceful resolution. You've seen countries that were at war for up to 60 years. We've seen groups within a country at war for up to 60 years come to the round table. So whatever we need to do that will bring peace to the southeast and stop the needless slaughter going on in the southeast, I think this year that has to be considered. I could recall that during his campaigns, Mr. President said he would be willing to negotiate with any group in the interest of peace in the southeast. As a person, I will encourage him to do that. I've been doing this for up to 2 years. Demanded for Kanu's release in exchange for him giving up his armed struggle, his campaign